So, unsurprisingly, I've played a number of games over the years, and a couple of them have been on a mobile device. Not exactly a great mobile device, but a mobile device nonetheless. Most of these games have been gacha RPGs because that's just the type of game I like. And I'm not talking about Genshin Impact here for once. That game's on a whole other level. The games I'm thinking about, and will be talking about in this video, are Epic 7, Tales of Crestoria, and the ever so famous Raid: Shadow Legends. No, unsurprisingly, this isn't one of their thousands of sponsored videos. Each of these games I've played, and despite their countless similarities, had drastically different experiences with. And if I'm being completely honest, I only really liked one. So what is it about these games that made me view them so differently? And why do I keep going back to Epic 7 but haven't ever thought about re-downloading Crestoria? And why did I have one for a year and the other one I could barely stand to have for a day? Before I continue, I just want to say these are obviously all my own personal opinions, and yes, I'm going to be comparing the three games, but the conclusion I come to are realistically pointed towards my personal tastes. Each of these games had a lot of effort put into them, and if you like them, that's fantastic. They each have something for someone. This is just me trying to analyze my own taste and understand why different medias appeal to different people. With that little preamble out of the way, let the comparison begin. And by that, I mean let the review of the games begin, for people who don't know them. First, Raid: Shadow Legends. This is a game that I'm sure most people are familiar with, mainly because I post on YouTube, and if you've somehow never found a video they sponsored, I don't know how you've managed that. Seriously, well, I was doing some research into the game to get like numbers and stuff. I figured out that the game's wiki has a section dedicated to YouTubers sponsored by Raid: Shadow Legend, and that is hilarious to me. But if you have avoided it, the game features 362 different heroes that can be summoned from a number of different tribes. Players will use these heroes to fight in a story campaign through a PvP arena, and they may also join a clan or complete dungeons to gain equipment to build your characters, and so on and so forth. Next, Epic 7. This game has 215 characters and counting. These characters will be used to fight a campaign, complete events, fight in a PvP tournament, join a guild, and complete dungeons to make equipment to build your character, yada 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 yada. Does anyone want to guess what's in Castoria before I get to that? This is probably the game that people are least likely to know. Players can pull one of the 124 Memoria Stones, which will unlock a character when obtained. Each of these characters comes from one of the amazing Tales of series games, and can be used in a campaign, an arena, a raid, and a number of events to get awards. Yeah, they're all pretty much the same. But again, I only really liked Epic 7, and one of them was based off the Tales of series, so why did that not appeal to me? To figure that out, we're going to break them down a little more depth and compare them. With it being a gacha game and the characters being such an important point, at least in my point of view, it makes sense to start with the summoning systems and see who you can get from it. Like I previously said, Raid has 362 heroes, though I saw things that said it was over 450, so maybe I miscounted, or the wiki wasn't as up to date, or something. I don't know. Epic 7 has 215 characters and Crestoria has 124. By that logic, Raid should be the most fun. With more characters, you'd have more diversity in play and more options for strategy, which would theoretically make it more interesting, right? Now, I'll admit I didn't play the game for very long, so I obviously didn't get to see all the characters they had to offer. But even if I had played longer, I don't think I'd really get a chance to experience the range of characters that they have, at least not without shelling out a lot of money. See, Raid's summoning system takes place at the portal. Players have to use shards and silver to perform a summon, with different types of shards that give you a different summoning chance. It's common to get mystery shards, but they only let you summon rares or lower. Epic and legendary heroes are just off the table, and the rare pull rate is only like 1.4%, so yeah, you're not really gonna ever get them. You can also get a free ancient shard every 3 days, which is great. That means that you can actually get those impossible unlocked characters if you're really just add a whole bunch more really's lucky. But honestly, with 91.5%, you're most likely to get a rare. And if you want more ancient shards, you have to get gems, the payable currency. There are 2 other forms of shards, though I have no idea how you get them? I tried looking it up and I couldn't find anything on it. There's probably like events and stuff or like passes that you buy, but I don't know. I couldn't find them. Now, obviously, all of these games have a pay incentive. That's how they make money. They want you to buy the stuff to do more pulls. But to not give your players a chance to obtain characters who have more than 1 or 2 attacks, because that's what the common and uncommon characters have, it's really disheartening. Because the common and uncommon characters have such limited actions, the game becomes pretty boring pretty quickly, at least in my opinion. Epic 7, on the other hand, allows players to use the Coven Summon, the Moonlight Summon, or the Mystic Summon. There's also a Friendship Summon, but that's not for characters. That's mainly for upgrade materials. The most common type of summon is the Coven Summon, which you can do once per day for free. And while there are obviously different chances to pull characters, there is a chance to get pretty much every character, save from a few that are in the Mystic Summon. You can also get quite a few of the Sky Stones that you use to buy the different bookmarks that you use to do the summons. And more summons you do, the more you build up this bar, which will give you a gold transmitter stone, and then when you reach a certain amount of gold transmitter stone, you can buy items that is either like a Moonlight Summon one, or you can get the guarantee for 5-star. It's easy to get characters in that game, is what I'm trying to say. And even if you don't get a high-rated character, the 3 stars are actually pretty good. There's even an option to upgrade some of your 3 stars to make them stronger, like Raz. Raz can turn into the Adventurer Raz. And their skills basically you just get stronger. There's also a 3-star named Lena who, holy crap, I have fought her in the arena quite a few times with some of my strongest teams when I was like really going at this game, and they were just destructive. They're just a 3-star, but they are destructive. And finally, there's Castoria Summoning. Basically, you pull to try to receive a Memoria Stone, and when you receive either a super rare or a super rare that you haven't received before, you'll get that character. You can also get costume versions of the characters. They won't be able to be in the same party as other versions of themselves, but you can get them. To do 10 pulls, you need 25,000 Glimstones, and that really only guarantees that you will pull a super rare, or for like a 5% chance, a super rare. Also, super rares don't have access to a Mystic Art, so they're not as good. Also, you need the same Memoria Stones to upgrade both the Memoria Stone or the character, and that's one of the only ways to strengthen said character because there is not equipment in that game. So, yeah. It doesn't help that you mostly are going to get R-rated stones or rares, which just kind of take up space because they don't really help you at all. And then there's the actual gameplay. Tales of Crestoria is a lot like Raid Shadow Legends. Epic 7 is pretty similar too, only you run around the map instead of automatically going to the next fight. Each ability comes with a cooldown, and each game has characters with buffs and dots and healing. But since Epic 7 and Crestoria allows you to use 4 characters in a party, you're able to have more control. And with Raid, you can build your characters how you want. Crestoria, on the other hand, as I said, doesn't have equipment. Really, all you can do is choose which Memoria Stone you're going to give them, which will give you a tiny bonus, like 7% evasion, a stat that you don't even see on your characters, so you don't know if you're putting them on a character who has high evasion or not. It really doesn't feel like it does anything. If you hadn't gotten the idea already, well, Epic 7 is my favorite, Tales of Crestoria is my least favorite. When it had such an advantage, it hurts, because I really wanted to love the game. Graphic-wise, they're all very pretty. Raid has obviously less of an anime feel than the other two, and I feel like the 2D arts of Epic 7 is just more appealing to me. Tales of Crestoria takes on a 3D animation style, which is nice. It's a little glitchy sometimes, and the events are a little repetitive, and I'm not going to get into this because I'm not going to get into it with the other ones, so I'm just gonna go to my conclusion now before this just turns into me ranting about what Tales of Crestoria could have been, because we could have had Tales of the Raid. I'm stopping myself there. Okay. Honestly, as I've gone through each of these games, thinking about them and what I could mention, and what I haven't mentioned, like the artifact system in Epic 7, which is a lot like the Memoria Stones, only better because they're actually useful, or the raids in Crestoria, which are repetitive, or the dungeons in Raid, tribe battles where you can only bring people of that specific tribe, I realized that Epic 7 has a lot more than the others, and not just content-wise, but a lot of variety. Epic 7 has pets, Epic 7 has... This is just turning into praise for Epic 7. Yeah, I should have seen this coming. but because there is so much content and you can make the characters in so many different ways, you just feel more engaged. Heck, even by being able to run around the map in Epic 7, even when it's just a vertical line, you feel more engaged. And I'm sure Raid appeals to those who want a more in the background experience. It would be very easy to put that game on auto and allow your characters to just go at it. You build your team and then just make them go, and you grind materials that way. It's just not what I personally want, so I can see Raid appealing to other people. Crestoria obviously appeals to some people who would like a very Raid-like game, but would prefer to see anime characters and live with your Tales of characters who you love. In my opinion, my personal interests are those that are more engaging, and so that's realistically why I like Epic 7 more. Even though the games are similar in format, they have tiny different design decisions that make them more available for idle play, and those that make it more available for just on your phone actually focusing play. They're all very similar but distinctly different. It allows people with similar interests but slightly different personalities to find games for themselves.